What is up, Pop Culture Universe? You are back with another episode review and the season finale of What If. This is episode 9. This is What If the Watcher Broke His Oath. So, we're the reactors today on this episode. My name is Bogz with my girl, Sol, today. How are you today, Sol?
I'm doing good. Ready to talk about this episode. What an exciting episode and finale for What If. I think I messaged you going, this is the best finale yet of any of the Disney Plus like Marvel shows, because I know like we've been a little unhappy with some of the finales in the past, and this one really hit it for me.
Yeah, it was wild. I think that's the kind of phrase that I'd use to describe it. And, it was kind of a good idea to have all the characters that have appeared in the previous episodes,
Mm-hmm.
and their storylines kind of tied up. So again, it was a good point. Not much, not unlike any other series that TV series that has come out this year on Disney Plus from Marvel slash MCU. But yeah, the season had a good overall arc, I felt, and I think it's good for like a binge watch. If you because you can get through the season in an afternoon in 2-3 hours. I do have some. I think obviously we're going to kind of briefly run through the episode and give a season review as well. Yeah, with this episode, I did like it, particularly the action stuff. Some of the best action we've seen in an episode. Um, I was glad, like I said, it did bring the episodes together. Uh, but yeah, I've got some thoughts overall on the season, and everything. But yeah, please, what's your overall kind of thoughts on this episode? Any standout moments in particular?
It was just a crazy episode. I did like that we got to have some of the answers from previous episodes. They really found a way to make a show that seemed like each episode that was its own story,
Hmm.
and then find a way that no, they all are connected and they have a way. So I think this too, like you said, could be watched binge wise. It could be watched week to week because it has both of those like parts to it where you can watch it separately as its own stories and then watch it together as one connective story. And I think that's very unique of this show.
Yeah, particularly the last episode, the big scale of it,
Hmm.
because the actual scope and scale of the people in and out of multiverses, with Ultron, the last two episodes really, I
Yeah.
felt was such a large scale. Because even if you think about like Thanos' story, with the Power Stones, kind of in just this galaxy, but like obviously this Ultron and when you have the Watcher involved in different dimensions, different multiverses, all kind of fighting together to save the whole multiverse, it does seem like a bigger scope scale, bigger scope story and tale than what we've seen before. So that's super interesting. Looking forward to seeing how this is going to influence the MCU moving forward. And
Hmm.
we've been told some characters in this or some storylines will be in the Multiverse of Madness Doctor Strange movie. Who or what or where, absolutely no idea. But overall standout moments for me, uh, it's kind of cool to see this Mad Titan Gamora, which we didn't see an episode of. That's why I was slightly
Yeah.
confused with at first. I thought, did I miss something here? But no, we definitely didn't see her story, which I kind of wish we did, because she was with Tony as well.
A
The
Tony Stark that's alive.
yeah, yeah, for now, and the Thanos Slayer and that kind of stuff. So I'm not sure if we're going to get her backstory, but that seemed kind of cool. I didn't really like the name Guardians of the Multiverse. I think I rolled my eyes when they said that. I was like, really? It's like a kind of dead name, but yeah, it was. You know, yeah, I wasn't a fan of that, but and yeah, just a whole with all the characters, having the Killmonger and T'Challa slash Star Lord and the other characters. I just thought, why was Captain Marvel not there? I don't know if it's
Mm.
maybe she's too OP. I don't know. But they kind of, because they include her, but they don't include her at the same time, because she absolutely whooped Thor that we saw. The party Thor. So I was thinking, why did they not include her, but they've included him in this? Why is
Right.
why did he pick him, kind of thing? So uh, yeah, so it was a kind of a bit confusing about that. Yeah, and that was kind of my major things. Really, the fight scene with Ultron was crazy. Um, you know, great animation, great effects. I did like. I kind of liked, uh, Captain Britain in this with Black Widow. I thought they were okay.
Yeah.
And then yeah, and then at the end, well, I'll confirm my kind of overall thoughts on the episode. But they were my favorite standouts. Is there anything for you? Any scenes in particular? Any characters or story arcs that you liked?
I kind of liked the way that it started, where you it very much gives that whole Winter Soldier vibe, but now just with Captain Carter there, and then the relationship between her and Black Widow, and kind of the whole that scene of like, oh, this person's been asking about you,
Hmm.
kind of thing, and like you should get out there
Right,
and
right.
kind of thing, and it's literally like just the same dialogue, and I liked seeing just from that and then picking them out. So you see where she ends after episode one. You see, I know where we were like, oh, there's like kind of a cliffhanger, and I really didn't think we were going to see anything with Shuri and with Pepper, like what they do next. And so
Mm-hmm.
you kind of got to see a little bit of
Mm-hmm.
that there. And so I like that. And I have like the way this episode ended, that Killmonger's no longer there and he's in a little dimension being watched over by Doctor Strange. What happens now in that universe? Because Killmonger is no longer there and they
Mm-hmm.
were going after Killmonger. So there's still a lot of little questions to have that they could do in season 2, but I like just the way this really began and how they picked everyone up. I do agree with you. Like, why is there's no Captain Marvel? Why is there no Spider-Man? Why is they not picking all these other multiple heroes that they could have had to fight this Ultron? Because this Ultron was way more of a badass than Thanos, kind of, at least in this series.
Hmm. Yeah, and yeah, I kind of agree with a lot of that. And then at the towards the end, when they were kind of putting everybody back in the same timelines, I thought they were going to put Natasha in our current MCU timeline. Like I
I
thought they
know,
were going
me
to put her back.
too.
Yeah, yeah. I thought, oh, is this where they're going with it? Because we have been told numerous times, this guy has a big implication on the multiverse and the MCU
Mm-hmm.
moving forward. So I thought this is a way to bring her back. But they didn't. They put in a kind of another timeline with the Avengers, and Captain Marvel was
Mm-hmm.
there as well, so that was interesting. But I did
Fighting
think for a
Loki.
second, yeah, exactly. And then yeah, so that was like a cool ending. And obviously the Watcher himself is my favorite character. He is the best introduction for me in this, and him possibly being there in scenes, watching everybody, seeing the dimensions, and how he steps in and out of scenes, and how he can't, he's kind of the lore around him in
Mm-hmm.
particular. I did like that, and seeing all his abilities, and I did like that Doctor Strange is the key to this particular story, where he has to kind of watch over these evil beings, whether it's Killmonger and Zola,
Mm-hmm.
and Ultron and stuff. Because we mentioned it last week, like we think that he is on their level, like potentially
Mm-hmm.
having the being the keeper of these abilities. And yeah, he's definitely he's up there, and he takes like the evil, you know kind of because the he has the moral compass which keeps him kind of humbled in terms of his
Right.
powers, but obviously the evil one can just kind of explode. And you saw the kind of animal, the creatures that he can use as well, so it's pretty crazy.
And also
um
because he didn't hurt his hands, he was way more advanced than the Doctor Strange
True.
we know, where it took him much longer to learn some things because he did not have the mobility of his hands.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. I forgot about that. So, yeah, that's the episode review. To do a season review, I do have a few questions, like just in my head that I was thinking, um, maybe throughout the episode or just in the season in general. And um, I did like this series overall, and we'll give it a ranking. But I didn't feel like it actually changes anything, because literally the story sewed up, and
Mm-hmm.
the watcher gave a little monologue at the end, and and that was it. It finished, but it doesn't have any implications to the MCU that we've seen as of yet. It's like you don't have to watch this. Like if you're even a casual MCU fan, you don't have to. This doesn't change any movies moving forward, or we're not seeing any of these characters as of yet. Like the last episode was cool and everything, but it doesn't have the implications on any movies that we've seen or anything like that. So I was a little bit like shrugged my shoulders at the end of it. And also like the TVA, I don't know how this is connected to Loki's story. Like, is there different TVAs in every multiverse, or do we have the same TVA? Because
That
obviously
I
Loki
don't
came
know.
back.
Yeah.
That's definitely a thing that I thought that in the first episode, and I thought it would get answered or looked at. But obviously, that's a big question. I think maybe we have to be patient. They purposely haven't answered that,
Mm-hmm.
I believe. But yeah, that was definitely a question mark I had with this series. But yeah, is there any kind of overall thoughts you have on the season? Any questions you want to address? Points?
With this series, I think it was more of a teasing of the multiverse because it's about to get crazy. And I know you haven't seen Venom yet because it's not available in the UK, but which I very much enjoyed that movie. But then also you have the post-credit scene, which I think will give some more teases there on what is to come multiverse-wise. And so it's very much like you're seeing these teasers of how crazy it can get. And so I have it just given me more expectations for Doctor Strange in the multiverse and then also for the Spider-Man movies.
Yeah, definitely. Spider-Man's obviously coming this year, Doctor Strange and early next year, I believe. So yeah, lots to hopefully come. I guess I just need to be patient. But overall, I give this, I've not been shy about my thoughts about the TV, kind of the Disney Plus shows. I've been underwhelmed by them. I'm not gonna lie. Overall, this is my favorite out of the WandaVision, Falcon and Winter Soldier, and of course Loki. This is my favorite. Overall, I'd probably give it a 7, maybe a 7.5. So absolutely like it, definitely, but because I don't know right now the bigger implications it does have, it just seemed like a cool little, like a what if of if there was a multiverse, and it hasn't impacted anything as of yet. So, but overall, yeah, it did have a story arc. It did reward you for watching every episode because you had a nice season ending, and the Watchers are great characters. So I can't wait to see him in other, in other features because he's like a Madam Web now of
Yeah.
like other characters. He can pop in and out of scenes and not interfere, but he clearly does it. Well, he had to interfere with Ultron, but yeah, he's definitely one to look out for. So, what about you? Any overall summary of the season and any ranking you'd like to give it?
And I think now because he has broken his oath, we might see him in the future break his oath again.
Sure.
And so I'm really excited to see whatever he does going forward. And yeah, I agree too. I thought they were bringing Natasha back to our universe. So that would have had a lot of implications.
Exactly. Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I don't think we've seen yet what those implications are. I will agree with you. And it could be absolutely massive once we see both Spider-Man and Doctor Strange. So we have to be a little bit patient there. I think I'd give it a 7.5 as well. I really enjoyed this episode a lot. Like I said, best finale. I loved like the moments with Thor. Like, is there a galaxy that has Chinese food or a multiverse?
And he gets it. He wants a beer, and he gets it.
Yeah. Right. The man knows what he wants. And Viva Las Vegas, which is kind of funny because I am flying to Vegas tonight after that.
Yeah.
So it was very funny, like, to just have him, like, just be like, for Vegas.
Yeah, what did he say? Like, I haven't heard that chant before or something? Damn right you haven't. But yeah, any other thoughts? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this. I think I would probably put this as my favorite of the Marvel shows. I've been a little bit more up on them than you have been, Bogz, but I have been disappointed with some of the endings, especially Falcon and Winter Soldier. I was very disappointed with that ending there, with a show that I very much enjoyed up until the very end. And so, yeah, 7.5. This was the best that I've seen on Disney Plus so far.
Yes, pretty much agree. But yeah, we'll see moving forward. Definitely need to have patience. They're playing the long game clearly here. But yeah, I'd love to get some answers. Like, I would love that if they brought Black Widow back, then yeah, that'd be great. Because that's what I mean. Like, that's why you have to watch this series. But who knows? I could say that retrospectively, although I haven't yet about any series so far. But yeah, maybe we'll see. Maybe big things to come, who knows. But that has been our episode and also season review of What If. Season 2, we'll do the same thing. We'll review each episode, we'll break it down. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you think of this episode and the season in general. But I've been Bogz, that's been my girl Soul, and we'll see you on the next review.